What did you think of the offensive performance yesterday after you watched the film?
Yeah, we certainly did enough to win. I think, as we meet about it, I'm sure there's plenty to clean up too. But feels good to win a game like that, yeah.
Josh, you talked about how special Breece was last week, I believe. I mean, what did you see from him yesterday, and how impressive was that screen pass that he turned into a touchdown?
Yeah, I think that shows it right there. He's just a heck of a football player, and like every time I watch film, I think I'm just more and more impressed with him. Same goes with this week when I turned on the tape last night. I just love the way he runs the ball, and man, he's fun to block for.
Josh, did you tell him you gave him a run for his money on that?
Yeah,
pretty good.
I haven't gotten the chance to talk to him about it yet, but that was it right there. That's everything I got.
Hey, Josh, you were competing with this guy in the summer, and now you've been playing next to him. Could you just describe what you see from Joe Tippmann and kind of how he's made that adjustment to guard since ABT went down?
Yeah, I feel like he's gotten better and better just every week. I love the way he plays the game and the way he prepares every week, and it's been so much fun getting to play next to him. And he's a really good football player.
Josh, I'm sorry if this was already asked, but what's this week going to be like, the short turnaround and preparing for the Patriots?
Yeah, they're always tough, but I think that's where just like diving into the playbook and the game plan and watching as much tape as you can is of maximum importance this week. So whoever prepares better.
Josh, on that last play when the Browns jumped, how surprised were you? Like Membu broke out into a dance and all that, but like, what did you see?
Yeah, I wasn't expecting it, but I was super. I was as much fun as I've had, on a football field watching those guys dancing around, and yeah, that was a blast. Super cool. I wasn't expecting it at all.
What did you think about the success you guys had on the ground there in the fourth quarter? Cleveland's been stopping that at a pretty good clip late in games, and you did have the lead, and you were able to take some time off the clock and also get in position to get that 2-score lead with the Folk field goal.
Yeah. I think just a credit to our whole, everyone involved in the run game, tight ends, running backs, offensive line, everybody doing their job at the end there. And we just we were able to grind it out, which felt really good to get a victory formation there at the end. That was great.
Kene, I was just asking before, on that return, at what point do you've got a shot to get into the end zone? Is it early on? Did you see the field opening up? What did you see on that play when you knew you were in?
Yeah, usually throughout my career, it's usually been like the 40-yard line. You cross the 40, you kind of have an idea if you're going to score or not. But yeah, across the 40 wasn't touch. I just got to outrun the kicker and then like any safeties on the sideline.
You've been in the league for a few years now, and I know the season's not over, but where would this special teams unit compare to any that you've been on so far?
Definitely towards the top. It's like elite buy-in. A bunch of guys just being selfless. Kick return's so unique. You got 10 guys blocking. There's no glory for one of them if I score a touchdown, but it's like a very selfless team, and I think that's why we're finding a lot of success.
What do you make of Isaiah and his ascension this season after Miami?
Yeah, it's elite. You know, it's determination. It's resiliency. You know, like having a fumble early in the year. I already know that it's like messes with your psyche a little bit, but like coming back and just going out there and like putting out what he can deliver each and every week, continuing to grow and being better. So like that's a huge props to him for a play like that.
Isaiah,
How
you're saying
tough has this-
after the game or during the game after your return, Banjo was saying, all right, it's like it's your turn now. And to know that he went out there just 36 seconds later and returned his punt for a touchdown, that's got to be cool, like as a duo for you guys.
Yeah, I think it's like an exciting feeling when you can just like make plays for your teams, like regardless of what it looks like. I think that's just the mentality for any of us back there with the balls in our hands. We're just trying to make plays for our team, hoping that our play can help us win games.
How tough has this season been for you, physically, and then being able to have that moment yesterday? How big was that for you?
Yeah, I think it was huge. Just being a spark for our team. Every season's kind of just draining on the body in different ways. But, this season, like I was talking about, the guys just being selfless, it makes it easier. A bunch of guys just doing hard, dirty work, just trying to get the returners, free so we can just make plays out there. Makes it really easy on us.
Hey, what's the adjustment been like to the rules changes over the last couple of years with returns?
I mean, it's been fantastic in my eyes. I think there's just like a lot of creativity you can do back there when it comes to the return scheme. And, just taking a lot of blows off the guys up front, you can, get a lot of reps in practice doing it. But I think it's been excellent, and I think the guys that have been capitalizing on it are, just people that are, buying into it, like really trying to set up their blocks, trusting where it should hit. A lot of these kind of look like run plays. So, it's like you got to set your blocks up. So I think it's been a great adjustment with these new rules.
Yeah, maybe off of my. Go ahead, yeah.
Go ahead, guys. You're not thought.
I may be off my timeline, so help me out. Were you and Breece in games at the same time?
Oh, yeah. I was there when he first got there, yeah.
What do you remember about him from when he first got there, and what are you seeing now from him?
Yeah, just a lot of maturity, and he'll probably even say that too. But I remember when he came in, he graduated high school early, still trying to figure it out, but I took to that, what was it, the spring game, like everyone knew, like, oh, this is Breece, but just to see where he is today, a whole lot of maturity, very humble. He's a very special person, and it's just really cool to see where he is today.
Just following up on that, what do you make of what he did there in the fourth quarter, or some of these plays where he's making something where there's not an initial hold? He's got this unique ability when it's not there to be able to bounce or have the vision to find something and accelerate.
Yeah, he's just being himself, just making plays, being electric, finding ways to be an asset for his team, and he thrives on that. Just being dependent on, and like that's what you saw yesterday.
How would you evaluate the defense's performance yesterday, and how was it getting that second win?
Yeah, first, performance, it was, there was some good stuff that we saw on film, obviously some stuff that we got to work on, but, we're just continuing to grow each and every week. I saw the physicality, I saw the effort to the ball and whatnot, so from that standpoint, it was good, but a lot more to work on, and but yeah, getting the win, another huge win. It's hard to win in this league, so when you get them, you gotta truly embrace them, quickly and then move on. So that's what we're doing.
How do you think the guys are responding to all the changes in the secondary? Obviously, last week you had a big trade. A.Z. Thomas unfortunately went down early in that ball game. So Cisco recently went to injured reserve. Just been a lot of changes over the last 10 or 14 days. How are the guys handled everything?
Yeah, I think the guys have handled it, well. Obviously you don't want to see, anybody go down. But, unfortunately we've been, faced with those obstacles. And so I think guys have stepped up, when their name is called and, have contributed to, us performing well on defense and, helping this team win.
How difficult is it what Brownlee was doing yesterday? I mean, I know he's got versatility, but starting at the nickel and then, AZ goes down and he switches to play outside, things like that, just on the fly.
Yeah, I mean, I think, just throughout the week, they try to give guys, opportunities to, play in other spots because, you never know what could happen. And so I think just yesterday was another example of that, of, Jarvis, stepping up, playing outside. And like you said, a versatile guy. So that was huge for us, and I think he played pretty well out there.
What did you
AG
see? Go ahead, Susan.
AG said he was happy with the way you guys responded coming into the second half yesterday and getting the stops that you needed. What do you feel like changed for you guys in the second half, and how encouraging was it to see Will come up with some of those big stops?
Yeah, I think, the first half, we really weren't playing, our style of ball as we like. And so, just, hearing AG's message at halftime, he challenged us to go out there and play our brand of football. And, I think we did that in the second half. And, a lot of guys stepped up, like you said, Will, having those huge sacks and whatnot. He had a great game. And so I think as a collective, we rallied the troops, in the second half.
Can you speak about the challenges of the short week and getting ready for a New England team that has played awfully well? And this is a road game as well, just as far as what you guys have to do in a condensed amount of time.
Yeah, I mean, you go through this every year. But, yeah, these types of games, man, it's, it's all 1-2. It's all who can, recover the best and, who really wants to win the most, like you said, the time is condensed, and so there's really less time preparing. But so it's going to come down to the small details. Who's going to be the best at the small details, and who's going to play both supportive and complementary football the best.